The thing is, just a lot of little snows trying to show up. Today's the next one. Probably not going to cause a big issue, but you just can't be surprised by snowflakes flying around after about 2 o'clock today. You see what it looks like off to the northwest. There's not a lot with it, but I've checked a couple of cameras up in South Dakota, and there's a thin coating in spots underneath this. You can see it trying to break apart a little bit and may try to redevelop. Overall, the trend would be to have less of that by the time it gets here, but I just can't rule out entirely that we get a little thin coating in some spots in our area. Now notice we can use the visibility map for a couple of things. It shows us where the fog is, but it also will show us where maybe visibility's dropped because there's snow falling. And that's what you see there, just a few little pockets every once in a while up in South Dakota, western Nebraska, where it dips a little bit. And that's what we'll have to watch for this afternoon. We're in the teens right now, trying to get up near 20 in a few spots. Fremont and Norfolk checking in there 20 or better. Feels like numbers all above zero, so that's good news. Trying to warm up a little bit and looking decent. That wind gust forecast today doesn't really pick up until after 7 o'clock. We get some 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts for maybe a 4 to 5 hour period, and that may be after most of any of this light snow falls. So the good news with that is the wind likely waits until after we get home from school, home from work, before it starts to pick up and become a little more noticeable and perhaps blows around a little of the snow and adds a little bite to the air. So this is where we're at by lunch. You can see some 30s to the west, 20s to the east. There's a surge of warm air trying to move in out ahead of this. And yes, it can snow while the temperature is above 32. Basically, this is about the only spot in the atmosphere, right down near the ground, where it's going to be 32. It's cold enough to keep it all snow until you get there. And by 3 o'clock, you can see these little stripes. There's one, there's one. There's not a lot to them. They struggle to hang on a little bit. Some fade, some redevelop by 5. And it's tough to say just who's going to get how much light snow. It's going to be generally less than a half an inch, pretty spotty. But along that line, as it moves through, by 10 o'clock, you can still see some snow showers down to the south. And then after that tonight, I do expect mostly just some flurries trying to float through beyond that. So probably not a big deal overnight. It's just this little window later on this afternoon after 2 o'clock. So you can see by 2, nothing really accumulating. This model suggests by 6 o'clock, you could have a tenth or so in some spots. And I would be surprised if it's just a widespread swath of that. This model just kind of maybe broad brushing things a little bit. By 10, 11 o'clock, still have some of that trying to add up a little. So that's one way of looking at it. Different model, kind of the same story. By 10 o'clock tonight, a few tenths of an inch. You'd be lucky to get a half inch out of this. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. But again, sometimes a little snow can go a long ways with these if it sticks. So that's what we'll be tracking out of this as we go deeper into the day today. I think by the afternoon hours, we'll watch and see how it moves in from the northwest. May not be a solid line of snow, but first alert to just getting a little bit after 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, not talking about a whole lot of snow, but this is the only day we're going to do this.
Yeah, so if you remember Tuesday, we had some afternoon snow showers, probably perked your ears a little bit. Probably going to have something similar to that tomorrow, I would say. On the backside of this snow chance, you get another north breeze and perhaps some light snow showers or flurries. That one too struggles to add up a little bit. Saturday, another little system brings some afternoon, evening snow showers that could be similar to what we have today, and then we get some more flurries behind it on Sunday with a little bit more wind, and that blast could cool us down a little bit. We were contemplating maybe putting those morning lows down in the single digits early on Monday and then struggling to climb there, but look what's at the end of the 10-day forecast. There's some 40s. Hopefully we can keep those around for a few days anyway, and you look a little longer range. So some good news there, light at the end of the tunnel. But until then, just these little snows, kind of annoying, don't really do much. Caused me to lose more of my hair, and then we see where we're at by Monday.
Like someone just sitting there with a Parmesan shaker.
That's exactly it.
The Tuesday snow was really pretty to look at, I will say.
That would have been nice for a Christmas Eve, right?
That would have been perfect. All right.
Just can't line them up all.
I know. Can't have it all. Okay. In the meantime, we'll check in with Jarrett on traffic. How are things moving?
Well, we've got the one crash that has been an issue, and it is on an interstate. It's 480 where we're looking at that being in place. So let's check in on the latest with this. It's a factor if you're going westbound just past the Missouri River, and there you can see it on the shoulder. We did have emergency crews that were on hand here. Looks like they've taken off. So it's out of the lane of traffic, but not very far out of traffic. So watch for that as you're making your way through that stretch. This is the area we're talking about. You can see people are getting through there, but it's something you'll notice as you drive there on 480 downtown. Elsewhere, we're slowing things down in the JFK. Big surprise there, but it is something that you're going to run into there as you're getting near I-80 there. The ramp is backing up a fair bit as we're starting off our day, and this is one of those things that I will be following as we go through the next hour and a half, because we'll kind of ebb and flow with how traffic is moving along the JFK at this peak of the commute. This is what it looks like right now. You can see we're doing okay, but there's a lot of traffic on that ramp trying to go westbound to I-80. So we'll be following that as we go through the day. Morning drive, as Rusty said, no snow concerns. You don't have to be worrying about what road conditions are looking like. We're picking things up. We're getting a little bit slow on 370 right near Gretna East there. Likely some school traffic impacts there. Otherwise, we're moving along in okay shape. So as we get toward the afternoon and the evening drive, where you have to watch for maybe some of those slick spots to be a factor. But in the early going, it's looking pretty good. You watch for that crash there on 480 as you go westbound. That's on the shoulder again, but it's a decent start to our commute. Yesterday it was about, we got to 740 or so. We started having some more issues, so we'll keep posted with anything else.
All right, we'll take decent for now.
Yeah, decent is decent.
Okay, Jared, thank you. Well, 6 people are under arrest in a sex trafficking case. Omaha police responded to a theft call at the American Inn Hotel on South 13th Court. Investigators found evidence of 2 child victims. 6 arrests were made over the last 2 days. 3 were booked on 2 counts of child sex trafficking. We will keep an eye on this case and bring you updates as we learn more.
An Omaha mother now officially charged in the death of her 6-year-old daughter. Last month, investigators say 6-year-old Alani Barfield accidentally shot and killed herself. Now prosecutors want to hold her mother, Yolanda Barfield, responsible. They claim the gun was unsecured, kept underneath a mattress. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office says they are looking for a 15-year-old boy who ran away from Boys Town.
Now, Jonathan Salata Lorenzo has admitted to a violent crime and was sentenced to probation. Last week, the Sheriff's Office says he ran from his court-ordered placement at Boys Town. Anyone with information on his whereabouts should call the Sheriff's Office. A first alert to parents of young children.
That's right. Nebraska families with kids 5 years and younger can now apply for child care credit. Now, to qualify, the family's household income must be less than $150,000. You could get up to $2,000 per child.
The application period for this tax credit opened in January, at the beginning of this month. The important thing is that people take advantage of this as quickly as possible, because it does take the Department of Revenue some time to go through the applications and approve them.
There are $15 million total to give out. Families will receive the money on a first-come, first-served basis. We have a link to the application at firstalert6.com. You can stick around. First Alert 6 streaming will be back after this. The time now 7:12 on this Thursday morning. Once again, a very cold start to your commute this morning, but really be on the lookout for later on this afternoon. That evening commute could be risky.
And with the temperatures where they're going to be, just enough of some snow showers, we might get a thin coating of snow in a couple of spots. So that's what we need to watch for after 2 o'clock today. When light snow tries to move in from the northwest. And then into the weekend, there's some more chances too. And then it looks like things are going to start to trend up a little bit after that. Now, satellite and radar showing us we have this band of snow. Notice it's not incredibly consistent the entire way. But as it drops southeast, it'll bring chances of some light snow into our area. And it is coating the roads in a couple spots in South Dakota when you check some cameras. But the clouds are increasing right now, and a couple of things we'll watch for as this moves in. The winds may try to pick up out of the north by 6, 7 o'clock. That means I think you can get home from work without any big headaches, but notice the gusts up near 20, maybe 25 miles per hour after 5, and that would add a little sting to the air. You can see you go a little deeper here. You get some gusts maybe up near 30 by, that's 9, 10, 11 o'clock. So not a huge problem. Most of the snow should be done by then, but your first alert forecast looks like this, up to about 33 for the high after the chilly start in the teens. And you can see after about 2 o'clock, some small snow showers will be moving through. I call them snow showers because I think maybe a couple of these could actually stick and accumulate in some spots. And that's how it would go. Now, let me show you what it looks like when you add it up on model data here. Through 6, 7 o'clock, maybe 1/10 of an inch, just a thin film on some roads. By 11 o'clock, you get that. Could get a few more flurries then overnight and heading into Friday. Tax on another 1/10 of an inch possibly. And there's more chances on Saturday, but models suggest maybe a lot of that even melts. So not a big issue. This is snowfall accumulation all the way through Saturday evening at about 11 o'clock. Not much there. Still third on the list for the lowest snow total this far into the season. Maybe we can get a grand total of 1 inch out of what we have over the next few days and bump up a little bit. So let's talk a little bit more about the Friday chance that tries to drop in from the north. And again, this could be similar to Tuesday where you get some snow showers and flurries that are a little startling, but they don't really do much. They don't really add up and they float out of the area just as quickly as they moved in. Often happens on the backside of systems like this. Then Saturday, there's another chance here heading into the afternoon hours where a couple little pockets of snow showers try to hold on and maybe even flip into a little bit of rain. That would likely be some melting snow, but it probably gets going as it's farther to the east of our area into the evening hours. So a couple of things to watch here in the short term. I think we could get some more flurries on Sunday. You notice the tone of my voice. None of it's going to really add up to all that much. Just don't be surprised by snowflakes in January for about 4 days in a row. Yeah, it's January. These sort of things happen. Some colder air tries to move in Monday down in the around 10 degrees to start off the work week next week, and you'll probably feel that.
Yeah, we've been talking about the cold all week long. It's cold, it's cold, it's cold, but there's a bright light coming up at the end of this tunnel.
It would be nice. It looks like we can at least muster some 40s by the end of next week here. A nice little warming trend. You mix some sunshine in there, and it might be enjoyable outside. You never know. We got to watch for this here. 40 to about 45 degrees maybe by a couple of days late next week. Enjoy that. I do think we may trend to the colder side of things beyond that, but you get some ups and downs. Boy, I hope the microphones aren't live over there. But yeah, that's the way it's looking here. Some ups and downs, but at least the ups try to get us into some 40s here. Whether I'm getting heckled or not, that's the way it looks. So that's what we're dealing with here over the short term. Again, it's snow in January, nothing wild. It's just not going to add up to all that much.
All right. All right, we're going to check in on traffic this morning. Crashes, how is everything looking?
Yeah, let's check in back on that crash on 480 that we were talking about. This is just west of the Missouri River. And you're going to notice in the bottom right corner of your screen, it is on the right shoulder. And traffic, as you're looking at that, is getting through there in pretty solid shape. So it's not really impacting things greatly as you're heading through this area. There's the crash that you could see. So those vehicles will probably be there for a little bit. Watch for that as you drive through there. But otherwise, we're off to a pretty solid start. Starting to slow down a little bit on eastbound Dodge, as we tend to do as we get deeper into the commute. This is right near 144th, so don't be shocked by some delays as you're heading in that direction. There's that crash I was just talking about. See things moving along through there in pretty good shape. But we zoom things out, and it's a lot of our busiest intersections where things are the slowest. That stands to reason. Right on 90th and Dodge, 90th and Maple with a few delays as well, but no major problems as we're starting off our day. Let's check in one more time, though, on how things go for the rest of the day. You notice Rusty mentioning some of those scattered snow showers once we get past 2 p.m. And so not major impacts on the scale. It's one of those where you start maybe taking your attentiveness up another step, just for the possibility that there are a few slick spots here and there where some of that tries to create a thin coating on a few roads. So that'll be the case through the evening drive. Not expecting huge problems, but you should certainly be alert as you're heading out and about for that later drive. The morning drive just fine and moving along pretty good at this point in the morning as well.
Sounds good. All right, Jared, thank you. Well, today is the National Day of Mourning for former President Jimmy Carter. Here's what today's schedule looks like. Carter's casket will depart from the Capitol at 8 o'clock this morning, so just about 40 minutes away. As it heads to the National Cathedral, his Washington funeral will begin at 9 o'clock, and at about 10:15, the Carter family begins its journey to his hometown of Plains, Georgia, for a private funeral later this afternoon. Our coverage here on First Alert 6 begins at 8:30 this morning.
As part of the National Day of Mourning, excuse me, the U.S. Postal Service will not deliver mail today. The U.S. Supreme Court, stock market, and government offices also all will be closed. The last time a National Day of Mourning was held was in December of 2018, you might remember, after the death of former President George H.W. Bush. It's your chance to honor the life and legacy of former President Jimmy Carter. Now, through Saturday, metro area Habitat for Humanity locations are encouraging people to write personal messages on doors that are set up inside their buildings.
Now, on your screen there, you can see a list of participating locations. Habitat will send photos of these exhibits as well as copies of the notes that you write to the Carter Center. Well, it is day 2 of Nebraska's 2025 legislative session.
State senators will begin introducing bills. The first day of the session started with prayer and the election of the committee chairs. Prior to getting elected as Speaker for another session, John Arch delivered this message to senators.
But your role here as a member of this unique unicameral legislature is a very important one. We're all very privileged to have the rare opportunity to serve the people of Nebraska as a member of this legislature, and I can guarantee you, you will also find this experience very awe-inspiring and rewarding.
Governor Pillen's priorities include banning the sale of lab-grown meat and switching Nebraska to a winner-take-all state. Well, the wheels on the bus go round and round, but they were bouncing hard this day.
Yeah, you got to see this traffic nightmare for yourself when First Alert 6 streaming returns.
Caught on camera, a massive sinkhole opening in the middle of the street in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, look at the size of that thing. But here's the thing. Just minutes earlier, that city bus was driving right over the exact spot. You see that bounce it took, though? Whoops. Fortunately, nobody was hurt here. Now, this happened all the way back on December 29th, and the street is still closed even now for repairs. That's a huge hole.
The first time this video played, we couldn't really even see. I couldn't see the actual sinkhole opening up.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone turned around. Look.
That's wild.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
It seems like just out of nowhere, right?
Can you imagine finding that out that happened after you were on that bus?
Yeah, that'd be wild.
That'd be scary. Oh, I was on that. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the sinkhole that we had here last week of the garbage truck, but not nearly.
And in the roadway like that, too, in the middle of the road.
Like you see the ones on the city streets, and a lot of times it's the man-made stuff, the sewer system, like ground giving way, but you could see some monster ones in Florida sometime that are just out in grassy areas, and that's just the terrain, and you never know where those things are going to pop up at times. That's crazy.
Could have been a whole lot worse. Glad nobody was hurt. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this Thursday morning. We're going to get ready for our update in today's show. You can watch it here on streaming, or you can watch it over the air.
All right. In the meantime, have a great start to your Thursday.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Thursday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get a check-in, an update on your traffic forecast this morning with Jared.
And as we're getting things going, one of the areas you want to watch for potential impacts, we've got this crash 480 westbound that's just past the Dodge exit. Now, this is on the right shoulder, as you'll see here as we get to the camera view that we've got. It's out of traffic, but it's not very far out of traffic, so just watch for that as you're heading through that area. You will get through there in okay shape. 370 backing up as you're heading eastbound, approaching I-80. Some delays that are in place there. JFK is off and on. Had some delays looking okay at this point. We've got a few of those, though. Westbound on L as you're going towards 60th. Rusty.
Yeah, no weather impacts for the morning commute. We got to watch out. First alert to some snow showers dropping in from the northwest for the evening commute. This little pocket of snow up here in eastern South Dakota looks to be the most ominous, but it's going to miss us to the north. And you can see how there's just these little snow showers trying to move in as we go throughout the day. So we got sunshine to start. Clouds are going to fill up the sky as the morning goes along. We're up to 16, feels like temperature of 2. Watch here after lunch towards about 2 to 3 o'clock. Look at these little snow showers that try to fill up the map little by little, never completely covered. And some of those will vary in intensity a little bit. Debatable whether they're actually going to accumulate or not. But we've got to watch out for a thin coating, maybe up to a ½ an inch in our area at worst. And sometimes it doesn't take much to cause some problems. So be mindful of that for the evening commute. Otherwise, we go to about 33 for the high before that moves in. Aaron?
An Omaha mother now charged in the death of her 6-year-old daughter. Investigators say Alani Barfield accidentally shot and killed herself. Prosecutors claim Yolanda Barfield kept the gun underneath a mattress.
It is 7:28 and we are back with another update for you in 25 minutes. We'll see you then.